When Jimin released Who, few could have predicted the storm it would create. The track wasn't designed to be a chart-chasing pop anthem with flashy hooks and viral TikTok trends. Instead, it carried a quiet intensity, a haunting ballad wrapped in raw vulnerability. For an idol who had already conquered global stages with BTS, Who felt deeply personal. Industry insiders noted that Jimin recorded the track during a period of solitude, reflecting on fame, identity, and love. Unlike other K-pop releases loaded with spectacle, Who relied on its simplicity, clean vocals, stripped-down production, and a lyric that echoed in the hearts of listeners worldwide. Who am I without you? At first, some skeptics believed it might be overshadowed by louder, more mainstream releases. But Jimin, as he has done so many times before, proved them wrong. It's no secret that the US music market has often been difficult for non-English songs to penetrate. Yet, Jimin's Who defied the odds. By mid-2024, the song began climbing the Spotify USA Daily chart, fueled not only by ARMY's relentless dedication but by casual listeners who stumbled upon the track and couldn't let it go. The shocking part wasn't its entry, it was its longevity. Day after day, week after week, Who refused to fall off. On September 2025, the track officially logged 400 consecutive days, setting an all-time record for a Korean solo artist in US streaming history. Industry experts compared its staying power to classics by Adele, Ed Sheeran, and Taylor Swift. Longevity like this isn't about hype. One music analyst commented, "It's about emotional connection." And Jimin has mastered that. No record like this happens without fans. For ARMY, Who became more than a song. It became a daily ritual. Across time zones, fans streamed together, organized playlists, and kept the song alive through grassroots efforts. But even they admit something bigger was at play. This wasn't just a streaming, one ARMY from Brazil said. People outside the fandom genuinely love Who. You hear it in cafes, in TikTok edits, in dramas. It escaped the bubble. On social media, hashtags like #400dayswithWHO and #Jimin Spotify legend trended worldwide. Fans shared how the song guided them through grief, heartbreak, and healing. In Korea, one fan wrote, "It feels like Jimin poured his soul into this track. That's why it never leaves the charts, because it never leaves our hearts." So what makes Who so addictive? Music critics say it's the balance Jimin strikes between fragility and strength. His voice breaks just enough to feel human, but soars enough to inspire. The song whispers rather than shouts, but somehow speaks louder than any anthem. Listeners describe it as a companion song, the kind you lean on during long nights, uncertain mornings, and bittersweet goodbyes. Unlike fleeting summer bops, Who carries weight. It's a song that matures with you, reshaping its meaning depending on where you are in life. The significance of 400 days isn't just about a number. It represents K-pop's deeper integration into Western music culture. For years, non-English tracks were treated as novelties in US charts. But Who didn't come and go, it stayed. It built its own seat at the table. Music historian Elena Richards compared the achievement to BTS's own breakthrough moments. BTS opened the door, but Jimin just proved that Korean soloists can walk through it and stand tall. He's not just following the group's legacy, he's expanding it. Adding to the weight of this moment is the timing. Jimin had only recently completed his military service in mid-2025. Fans wondered if the world would move on during his absence. Instead, Who held steady, almost as if the song kept his presence alive even while he was away. His return to the spotlight coinciding with this record-breaking achievement feels almost poetic. It's as though the universe waited for him, keeping his voice on the charts until he could once again stand before the fans who love him. With this milestone, speculation is mounting. Will Jimin release a new solo album in 2026? Will Who inspire future collaborations with Western artists who've now seen his global impact? HYB has remained silent, but industry chatter suggests Jimin may already be preparing his next project. If Who is any indication, his future releases won't just be songs, they'll be events. In a world where music trends vanish overnight, Jimin's Who has carved out something eternal. 400 days on the Spotify USA Daily Chart isn't just a statistic. It's a story of resilience, connection, and the quiet power of authenticity. A S1 fan tweeted, "Jimin didn't just break a record. He broke the idea that a song has an expiration date. And perhaps that's the real magic of Who. It's not about how long it can stay on the charts. It's about how long it will stay with us." Insiders from HYB revealed that Who was not a rushed project designed for instant commercial success. Instead, Jimin approached the song as a diary entry, pouring emotions that had been building during BTS's group hiatus and the looming shadow of military service. Producers noted Jimin's perfectionism. He reportedly re-recorded several parts of the track late at night, insisting that every vocal take should carry both fragility and strength. Jimin didn't want a perfect sound, one staff member said. He wanted a human sound. That's why when he breathes in the song, you can feel it. It's raw. It's him. This decision to leave imperfections intact became the very soul of Who. Rather than polish away every edge, Jimin chose authenticity. And in doing so, he gave fans a song that feels alive, personal, and real. Of course, even the most beautiful track needs an audience. And ARMY proved once again why they're considered the most powerful fandom in the world. From the day Who was released, fans across continents created detailed streaming guides. Twitter threads explained optimal playlist rotations, Spotify looping tricks, and collaborative streaming parties. In South America, fan bases organized #StreamWhoNights, while in Europe, ARMY scheduled mass streaming hours to overlap with peak US times. But as weeks turned into months, something fascinating happened. Who began charting steadily even beyond ARMY-driven efforts. Casual listeners discovered the track through algorithmic playlists, TikTok edits, and K-dramas using fan-made soundtracks. The song broke free of fandom boundaries, transforming into a mainstream sleeper hit. Unlike many K-pop hits powered by elaborate choreography or high-budget MVs, Who thrived on simplicity. Clips of Jimin singing the chorus went viral on TikTok, not because of flashy effects, but because of its raw emotional pull. Thousands of users created edits with captions like, "This song sounds like heartbreak," or "The track you play at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep." This relatability made Who transcend cultural borders. You didn't need to understand Korean to understand the emotion. Jimin's delivery did the work, whispering, breaking, and soaring in ways that words alone couldn't. Interestingly, Who found resonance in groups beyond typical pop listeners. South Korean news outlets reported that many young men serving in the military cited Jimin's track as one of the most streamed songs during their service. Some explained that hearing Jimin, who himself was preparing for enlistment, gave them comfort and courage. Meanwhile, university students around the world began using the song in study playlists. On Spotify, Who often appeared in curated mood lists like Deep Focus, Sad Hours, and Late Night Drive. It wasn't boxed in as just a K-pop release. It became a song for life's many quiet moments. When Who first dropped, not all critics were convinced. Some Western reviewers described it as too understated for mainstream audiences. Yet as the song's endurance became undeniable, many of those same voices began to reconsider. Billboard published a retrospective in August 2025, calling Who a masterclass in subtlety that proves restraint can be just as powerful as excess. Rolling Stone Asia praised Jimin's ability to blend intimacy with universality, noting, He doesn't sing at you, he sings to you." The critical reevaluation only fueled the song's reputation. Suddenly, Who wasn't just a fan favorite, it was an industry case study.